Hey guys, welcome back. This is Storm and welcome to episode 152 of our single player Tiveden world. So the Village and Pillage update is now fully available, but there are a number of bugs and performance issues with that update. So I did ask my Twitter, should I be upgrading my world now, or do I wait for the first bug fix release? And overwhelmingly the response was, do not upgrade. So I will be waiting for that first bug fix release. So that means in this episode what we're going to be doing is a bit of preparations for that update, because a number of things will change and break in our world here. So yeah, let's talk about some of those. So first of all, the thing right in front of us here. So this is our carrot and potato farm. So we've got two browncoat villagers on each level here. Both are farming 24/7, throwing items into hoppers, which go down to chests down below, and then I convert those items into emeralds. And as part of that process with trading, I get XP, so that allows me to repair my tools, and then with all the emeralds that allow me to use them in the future for all wonderful different things, including trading. And that is largely going to change in the next update. Emeralds are going to be much more scarce, well it seems to be anyway. And the way the farmers will farm things in the next update, that is all changing. And the villagers themselves are largely all changing. They're going to need beds, they're going to need workstations, they need to interact with each other. A whole lot of things will change. So that means a farming setup like this will change. Not sure if there will be a fix available to allow something like this to work again. So that's a future problem to deal with. But right now I'm just allowing these guys to farm like crazy so I can stock up on emeralds. You're never going to have enough emeralds. So I'm allowing that to happen. And there are other things that are going to change in our world, but before we go down and look at those, have I actually showed this area up here before? I'm not actually sure I've showed this in a video. So this is a little viewing section I created up here to overlook our workers, make sure everything's in line. And I've also got this extra storage up here for carrots and potatoes. You never know when you might need more of this, so it's not connected to the storage that's underneath. I've just moved some items over here just to make sure we have some stocked up. And that's all pretty cool. And then I have also worked on the walls around the top level here just a little bit, making it a little bit cleaner and a little bit nicer. Just a little bit of detail, nothing too crazy. But down here, this is where something else is going to change in our world with the next update. And that is the way lighting works, because I like to do things like this, which is hiding light sources underneath blocks. And the way this works in the next update is light will no longer be able to pass through certain blocks, including enchantment tables. Which means an area like this will be dark on the surface, and that will allow mobs to spawn. So that's a problem for me, because I don't want mobs spawning in my buildings. So that means I have to go around and find different lighting solutions. I don't want to use a whole bunch of visible lighting, so we'll have to try and find other sneaky ways to hide lights. For example, I like to put redstone lamps underneath chests, and that will still work in the next update. That'll allow light to pass through. So some details like that I'll have to work on, and I think we'll just run around in our world here, make some changes, do a bit of trading, and get ourselves ready for updating. So I might have gone a little bit overboard with the trading here. I've got myself a whole lot of books, because trading in bulk like this is going to be much different when you upgrade. So I figure why not do a whole lot of trading while we can, while it's easy. So I've been stocking up on extra books here. So what have we got here? We've got some mending, and I think, yeah, got some junk. I think this is mostly mending, is it? I think it looks like just mending. Got a whole lot of looting. I was going to get originally a whole chest full of these each, but I think this is where we'll stop. Got some silk touch, feather falling, depth strider, and unbreaking trees, nice. And I've got some sharpness here as well. So basically the essentials. This is everything you're going to need generally when you're doing enchantments. If you don't die and you don't lose your weapons, I think you find that, well I find anyway, that you spend less time enchanting things because you're just reusing what you already have. So there's always that to consider, but I figure why not, let's stock up while we can. Sometimes you got to take advantage of these situations when the game mechanics change. And I was just thinking, I do have these ones, so I need to probably enchant up my trident, because this is something that I got while I was just playing around in my world, and managed to finally get myself one trident. So I'll probably have to do something with this. I'm not sure if I'll use it. I mean, if I'm going to raid a ocean monument, I think it's pretty much a given that you need to use one of these. It just makes the whole experience a lot easier, and a lot better actually. So I probably will put some enchantments on there, but I'm not exactly sold yet on which one I should do. Probably will go with channeling, even though, let's face it, I really hate when it thunders around here because it can set my world on fire. So I could probably go to a different part of my world and then get some different mob heads using the channeling enchantment, mix in with some loyalty, and I think these ones are mutually exclusive, right? Pretty sure they are. Well, I'm not sure if spending 100 levels on this thing was the best idea, but put it this way, we can now at least catch fish with style. Whoops, where did that go? There we go. So I've just done a whole round of trading through these double chests full of carrots and potatoes. They're pretty much all empty now. They're starting to restock up again. And that gives us a whole bunch of emeralds, and we've been crafting those into emerald blocks. Because what I've set a target for myself before we update is to try and get a double chest full of emerald blocks. And I'm well on my way, but there is a long way to go. Doesn't look like much, but I can tell you that is a whole lot of trading still to come. Because if you look at the ratio, it's actually 16 carrots or potatoes for just one emerald. And then when you craft that, put it into blocks, you can do the math. That's a lot of trading. So we'll allow these chests to fill up again. It takes a little while. You can see they are already filling up, because we do have our farmers up above working around the clock. They're pulling double time, and then hopefully we can work towards getting this chest all full of emerald blocks before we update. So that's the goal. Not sure how close we'll get, but we'll give it a good go. With Village patrols being a thing in the next update, I thought it might be a good idea to place a couple of mushrooms around our desert, just in case we come across a patrol and we manage to kill ourselves a captain, which is one of the guys carrying the banner, and we get the bad omen effect. I may not always want that bad omen effect. I might want to actually get rid of it just in case we trigger a raid accidentally. So if we have a couple of these guys scattered around the place with a bucket nearby, hopefully we can make it to here and drink a bucket of milk to get rid of a bad omen effect, and then we can control if and when we want to enter our villages with that effect. Because having a raid when you're unprepared is never a good thing. So next I thought we would work on adding additional beds to our villages, because at night time in the next update the villagers would like to sleep in their own beds, and we don't have enough beds in this little micro village, and I've also brought over additional villagers. So we do need to install additional beds, and we don't have a lot of room to play in. So what I'm going to do is try and be a little bit sneaky and stack beds on top of each other. Now this is something that I've been doing for a while. It's just a nice aesthetic look, but also in the next update a villager can sleep in this top bed and also at the bottom one at the same time. So both of these beds can be fully occupied. That will work well for us in the next update. Isn't that right? But something else you may not realize is that a villager can also sleep on a third bed. So if these are stacked 3 beds high, all 3 of these can be used by villagers. So that's pretty cool, and that's a nice compact way to have additional beds in a small place. So to make this look a little bit nicer though, what I'm going to do is put trapdoors on either end, and that's something I've been doing quite a while for a bunk look. And what we'll do to make that work for us, because we need a trapdoor on this other end, is we'll make this building a little bit wider. I'll extend it over 1 block. That should give us enough room to add in the necessary trapdoors. Alrighty, so this little house has now been updated. You can see we've got the triple bunk on the inside. We've also got a resident, so that's pretty cool. And I'm using some dyed green beds in here just to add a little bit more colour. And I've also got a triple bed now inside this house, so this will give us enough beds for when we update our world here to the Village and Pillage update. And you can see I've also made a few little subtle changes to the buildings, just making them a little bit cleaner, a little bit nicer. So switching out, so previously I had oak planks around the insides of the walls. This has been switched for stripped jungle wood. still not a fan of this block, but I think for these buildings it actually works. I think it looks okay. And I think we had oak planks here, so switch those out with the dark oak. And we've got a few extra trapdoors around the place. So little details, but I think this adds to the build. So I'm pretty happy with the end result. We no longer have a bed inside this building, but these villagers seem to want to hang out here anyway. So I think I'll make this our workstation. So we'll put all our work blocks in this building. And then hopefully these villagers will stay relatively protected during the day. Because hopefully they'll just wander from their beds and then across into their workstations. So they'll be inside for most of the time. So I think that'll be a better way to keep them protected. So with that now done, we can move on to the next thing. And I thought we would talk about this pathway here for a little bit. So this pathway used to be a bridge. And at the start of the episode, you saw me tear it down and replace it with this broken path design. And I think it turned out quite well. You'll have to let me know, did you prefer the bridge design or do you like this kind of look better? I think this one actually looks a bit better. I think it suits the way this path naturally looks when you look down. I think that looks a lot cleaner than it did when there was a bridge there before, but ultimately you guys can be the judge. And this really becomes possible by the way that we can now waterlog many different types of blocks. And that creates this nice broken effect we can pull off by using different block combinations. And I'm using the wall blocks off to the sides because when you walk on top of a wall block, you can see the player steps up a level. And I didn't want that height change when you just walk over this path every time. So that's why I'm using the walls off to the sides. So you can always walk right down the middle and then the player doesn't change the height at all. So I think it looks good. I think it turned out okay. But yeah, let me know if you would do anything different. So I do need to make changes to our desert village here, but I think I'll leave this for a future episode. So what we're going to do now is head over to our swamp biome because I want to get started on a brand new project. And that involves creating a brand new village. Because if you don't know, villages that spawn in different biomes in the next update, they can get unique skins or textures. And the villages that spawn in a swamp biome, I think are one of the better looking villages. So we're going to create ourselves a village over here. And I think it's a pretty cool area. We've got our large tree in the background here. You can see the silhouette of that. We've got our reed farm right over there. We're not too far away from the main island itself, so I think this is a nice location, and we also have our stronghold right over there somewhere. So we are very close to things, and I think this would be a pretty cool area to build ourselves a village. So I'm not exactly sure what we should do for the look of the village or the layout, so I figure we'll just build a little bit and just see how the inspiration goes along the way. And what I thought we could do over here is make our entrance. So what I'm just going to do is just put a line of dirt along here. Because I thought what could be interesting is to make the entranceway embedded between two trees. And try and make like an entranceway that's through the trees itself. So if we were to plant some trees along here and just see what it looks like. Hopefully we get some taller looking trees. This is probably going to annoy me, so let's make a little pathway across. So something like that. We might be a bit close to this tree, but we'll give it a go. Let's just grow these up and see what it looks like. If I can reach them, that is. Maybe we should do it like this. And looks like they're all going to be quite low. That's okay. I did bring over some shears as well. So I do want to make this a little bit... These are all really low trees, aren't they? Maybe that's not the look that I was going for, but let's just continue with it. See what happens here. Okay, they're all pretty low trees. That's not a too crazy look though, really, is it? It's like a blob, but yeah, let's see if we can tidy it up a little bit. Let's grab our shears. And how high up should we go? If we do have a raid out here, a Ravager will pretty much knock out at least 3 blocks up here with the different leaves, because they can just basically headbutt all the way through leaves, and they will destroy them. So if we do some... There you go, Mr. Drown. Not holding anything. Do need some Nautilus shells. If you want to bring over some of those, I'll gladly take those. So does that look any better, or does it look worse? It kind of looks a bit strange, doesn't it? Let's grab these leaf blocks. Yeah. Not fully convinced this is a good look here. So we might have to experiment with this a little bit more. But the idea would be is we would have some kind of entranceway to a village We can kind of carve our way through. So it'll be something like this. Maybe make it a little bit bigger around the other side here. In fact, does it look better on the other side? So yeah, so something like this probably looks better. And yeah, so I'm not sure if we'll do this same look all the way around the village, but perhaps in an entrance way doing... Actually, no, I can't put any more leaf blocks there because, as I was mentioning, a Ravager might destroy that if we have a raid. So even though this side looks better, maybe we do need to raise up the height of these leaf blocks here. So how do we best do that? What we could do is perhaps put down some actual trees inside this one. Now that sounds a bit strange, but what if we did something like this? So if we just come down here a little bit, put down a dirt block, and then we'll grow another tree inside here. Does that look strange, how it pops up like that? Here's something different. Let's try it out on this side. I am just going to experiment here, I think, and see what comes out of this little crazy design that's going on here. It might be something that's totally useless and we throw it away, but I figure we'll give it a go. Try something new. What does that look like? Does that look too strange? I mean, it's different. Yeah, can you imagine this being a village behind this? It's, yeah, neither can I right now. So maybe a little bit of optimization that's going to be needed here to try and make it look a little bit natural, a little bit interesting, and probably have to come up a little bit higher. Maybe something like that. Then I need to put down some leaf blocks in here. That's just temporary, but so I can reach up here. So something like that, I guess. Does that look better? Kind of looks a little bit strange. Now what we could do is just put down... We had like some extra blocks on the sides. We could probably break up the wall a little bit and maybe... What if we actually tried that? Let's grow like another plant out here somewhere. Grab our bone meal. We could do something like this. I think that makes it start to look a little bit better. Let's try another one like on a diagonal over here somewhere. But we are going to have to chop that down. So you can, as you can tell, don't really have a plan here. I'm just trying to wing it a little bit. Sometimes that's okay to do in the game. You don't always have to know exactly what you're doing. I'm definitely not one of those players that plans out everything in creative and then basically uses a schematic program and then recreates it in the survival world. I never understood people that do that. To me, that's, well, if you're going to do all that, why don't you just play creative? But that's just me. Yeah. I don't know, I'll have to think about this to see if this has actually got legs. Is this actually going to go anywhere? And would we continue this all the way around? I'm not certain on that either. What would it look like if we thicken things up on this other side here? So if I were to put down some extra blocks. And what I would do is this whole area back here, I would fill this in with dirt. Just so we've got a place to actually walk around and build the actual village. So what if we had something like this? Then, now on this other side, I don't really have to worry about trees and whatnot being, or the leaves going right down to the ground here, because we will have this exposed or protected, I think, from the Ravagers. That'll be the plan. I could build a village and then still have raids spawning on the inside if I'm not careful, so I do have to be mindful of light levels, I think. Spawn areas. Let's grab those blocks. Still looks strange. Still does kind of look strange, doesn't it? That's right, don't mind having a strange world. I just didn't want to have the exact same look of a village that I've done in other parts of my world here. I wanted to have a unique area. Not sure how big this will be, and whether or not we extend this all the way around. I mean, you can kind of get a rough idea of what we're doing here. Certainly not perfect, and there's a lot of room to improve. What if we were to start contouring this out? Does this make it look any better or worse? And then we could probably plant a couple back here as well. Something like this. So we have a little bit of variation. And then let's see if we can grow some of these. Knew that was going to happen. Let's try these ones. That was a stubborn one. Thankfully I have more bone meal, so something like that. Now I should probably sleep because we are in a swamp biome and I will get murdered. There's no real torches around here, so I do have to be careful. Let's nap the night away. Okay, you can't really see it off to the side, but that's okay. I don't mind it really curving around and then you really get exposed as you walk through and it starts to open up into an actual village. So having it hidden behind some trees could be an interesting look. And what if we did something like that? We mixed in a little bit of variation. Doesn't have to be all nice and perfect. Something like this could be okay. It could also be a little bit funky. So does that look any better if we did something like that? As you can see, you can start to add in a bit of detail, add in some different blocks. I need to raise this up a little bit and think about how high do we want to have this going all the way around. So there are little things we have to figure out. Let's see what the side area here looks like. Doesn't look too bad, but you can see I do need to bring up the leaves because I do want to have probably a 3-block gap where we don't have any leaves on the surface or from the ground level up, just so we give ourselves a bit of a buffer just in case we do get attacked by ravagers. So some little details I still need to figure out. So I've put in a little bit more detail to the exterior here just to see what it could look like. I've put in some oak fences here. You can see I've got some vines now starting to grow. I've also put an entranceway here, and I've also, what else did I do? I did something around here. Oh yes, I used some ladders as well, just to start to make this look like it will be an actual structure that a villager might have actually created at some point. Try and make it look a little bit more man-made, kind of carved out of just natural generation here. So something like this could be interesting, or it could be disastrous. I'm not sure how well this will look at scale. I did start to extend this a little bit further around the side here. So I've just kept up with the same theme. You can see it coming around. And we've got plenty of room to play with here. I could make this come out over the water here. If we do that though, I do have to think about how do I contour the... Oh, there's a trident man. Okay, time for another trident. Are you going to give me one? No. Well, that's disappointing. I think the drop rate for a trident is still like very low. It's supposed to be something like 8% or something, but I don't think I even get that, even with looting 3. Anyway, we get sidetracked. So yes, extending this around, how well this will look as we start to extend with scale. We do have a lot of land here to play with, but contouring this up and making it look natural where it comes down and connects with the ground underneath the water here, that's going to be a bit of a challenge. And I do want to contain this area to a swamp biome. That's why I've reduced the biome blending at the moment, just so I can see the real hard lines where the actual river biome is here and where the swamp is, so we can make sure that the village will be contained in that. So a few things to consider. And I will probably stop things here though, because I don't want to go too far ahead. If you think this is a terrible design and a terrible concept, let me know in the comments, because I'll stop things straight away. I'll probably burn this down and then move on to something else. But I did want to get your feedback on if this is going to be a good idea, you think it's a terrible idea. This is what it looks like on the other side right now. And this has really had no cleaning up. There's certainly things we could do on this other side to make it look a little bit nicer, but I do like having this idea where you've got these kind of fence post designs for a window where you can see out to the other side. I think that could be a nice look if we had this around the walls, if we continue with this theme. So yeah, let me know in the comments, is this something you like, or is this something that you hate? And on that note, I think we'll leave the video here. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Cheers.